Hi, everyone. I hope you've had an awesome week. You're listening to the Good Citizen Radio Show. And it's me, your girl, Bekeme. I hope, like I said, you've had an awesome week. I've had a great week. The showers of blessing all over Lagos, all over Nigeria has been great. It's nice and cool. Use this opportunity to save costs on AC bills. So the show is brought to you by CSR in Action, and it's funded by ACT Foundation, a grant-making organization established in 2016 to support NGOs working in health, environment, entrepreneurship, and leadership across the African continent. Now, it's clear why ACT is sponsoring the Good Citizen Radio Show, because the show is focused on developing active citizen leaders of our great country, Nigeria. Now, the topic we're going to talk about today is something that trended throughout this week. We're looking at the value of respect in modern Nigerian society. Now, all societies, whether traditional or modern, have evolved, learned and shared guidelines for behavior by its members. The members generally share norms which define acceptable rules of conduct, right, for the different age groups. Some African cultural values include the sacredness of life, good human relations, honesty, friendliness, morality, respect for elders and authority, common language and proverbs. And our relationships are typically guided by these values, which is why, popularly, having grown up in Nigeria, you'd hear, "Shut up there." What an elder sees sitting down, you don't even see standing up. Now, there's an argument that, there are huge benefits to this, and then there are huge disadvantages as well. For those who are active on the social media scene, or who are like me and just happen to hear what happens on social media, you would have heard about the story that my good friend, he's like a big brother to me, Tonya Cole, posted about a young man who had refused to give up his seat to our very own revered Prof. Wale Soyinka. Now, the camps are divided on the matter, and with some saying, "Oh, yes, he's within his right, they've been oppressing us, everything." And then some are saying, he's an older man, why not leave his seat to him? And then the argument is, really, if you are allotted a seat, why sit on somebody else's seat? From my point of view, and from the narrative that we saw, it wasn't clear whether Prof even asked for his seat to be allowed, for him to allow him to sit on his seat. It could be that an absent-minded older man sat on somebody else's seat. He was asked to move, and he moved. And, obviously the young man who needed his seat for whatever reasons that are best known to him. And then we also then saw a plot twist where somebody else on social media claimed to be the young man in question who had denied Prof his seat, and, basically eventually said he was standing up for every Nigerian youth whose right had been trampled upon. And then yet another plot twist. Prof's son allegedly then writes this episode about how he has no problem with the young man claiming his seat, how Prof is a gentleman, and how his angst is against social media warriors who don't understand the value of respect. Now, as you can see, or as you heard, different people, different opinions that are here to thrash out what do we think respect is and should be in modern Nigerian society, having seen us transcend from typical traditional life to imbibing some modern values. Here to discuss this show is none other than our very own Good Citizen WhatsApp group champion, Akin Fatunke,
Thank
FCA.
you very much. Thank you very much, Bekeme. Thank you very much, listeners. Real pleasure to be here. I'm inspired.
Thank you. So he has a passion for education and human capacity development, and to him, excellence and loyalty on the job, respect for others, and taking responsibility for one's actions are uncompromising ethos. Now, the reason why we've invited him to this show, regardless of all of this, is I think that he's someone who sort of bridges the gap between the old and the young, because even though he's 60, he's very, in tune with what is happening. He's the one who thrills us with all the latest music jams on the WhatsApp group. And, having had the sort of jobs that he's had over the years, he has a lot of exposure. He's, traveled out, been away for a while, witnessed other cultures and norms and everything. So I think he's the best person to come on this show to discuss this. Now, Akin, what do you think? Are you of the opinion that our values are being eroded, especially when you look at it in line with, this thing that played out on social media this past week?
Very quickly, I will say yes, perhaps with some qualification. Okay. I also must say that I've had to inspire the millennials. I've had to give lectures both at Lagos Business School and myriad of places where I've had to lecture, 1, 2, where I've had to actually supervise from the scratch what we would like to describe as millennials, these folks with different perspective as to how to achieve set objectives. And my background is that I don't discriminate against them. I don't try to pull them down. Rather, what I try to do is to try and put my light, on the mountaintop, rather than hide it for them to see, and then begin to now ask themselves, what is it that makes this man thick? And one of the things I found is the fact that truth is truth, right is right, not human rights this time around. Whatever it is, right? 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. And of course, we can argue that in the binary system, 2 plus 2 might be 5 when you try to prove. But on the face of it, 2 plus 2 is 4, and he's saying 5. And I didn't ask you to give me an answer in a binary system. Oh, yes, that is true. What will make you pass the test will be 2 plus 2 is 4. And I said, how come I missed it? Is it that I didn't hear the instruction properly and stuff like that? And with some kind of compassion. Might be, I think your energy level is a bit on the high side. Now, respect. Okay, respect means different things to different people.
Yeah.
In your opener, you talked about our mores, our culture, and the fact that in this part of the world, we tend to want to give respect to somebody who is older, somebody who is much more knowledgeable, somebody who teaches you how to work, somebody who teaches you how to have the right attitude to even go toast a girl, marry a girl.
See what I told you? Yeah,
whoever comes to teach you this,
right?
You have that kind of sense of reverence. How did he know it? How come you know that and I didn't know? And I said, look, all I have done is just try and apply myself. So from that Latin perspective,
right?
Respect is from that word respectus,
which means
it means regards,
yes,
consideration, and it also means the fact that you have respected yourself so that others can respect you. And I will just want to add an element of law. Respect means irrespective of age, gender, creed. If I got ahead of you to get onto a bus, I should get in first. Mm-hmm. Now, if I see that you are physically challenged, the prerogative is on me to give out my space In fact, self-respect for me will not be giving that other person the consideration. Oh, please come on. Come take the first hop on the bus. So it's a part of respect. So what really has happened in reality is that we now have a jambalaya, of sorts. Okay? It's my right. It's my privilege. I am entitled to this and all that.
So the thing is, I did say earlier that it didn't seem as though Prof himself asked for the young man to vacate his seat.
Well,
okay, that's one
that is one.
Okay. Secondly, is the consideration that the young man may have had a preference for a window seat for whatever reason, and he was allotted the seat.
Great.
He was allotted the seat.
Undoubtedly.
So are you saying that had you been allotted a seat, let's say that he wasn't Professor Soyinka, because, I said, I would have given him my seat, because obviously I know and respect him. I'm an English graduate. We read, most of the books that we read were books that he'd written, and so he's very revered. Okay, so it's somebody else on your seat, and you come there, and maybe you had checked in online, selected your seat, you arrive there, somebody's on your seat. Are you saying that they should have let it go? They should have just said, you know what, somebody else is sitting, I'll sit elsewhere. Do you think that is a good trend?
Not exactly. But the manner of approach makes all the difference.
Which we don't know what it was. But then again, because Tonye he doesn't strike me as a traditional person who would have insisted on the setting. So he's not very stuck up. So that may give a slight give us some slight insight to what may have transpired, even though we don't know. Because for him to have come out there and said, this person respect, or it could have been that he just really was so honored to be in the presence of Prof, and he thought, you know what, I will give him my seat, so somebody else should have given up their seats for him. So, these are the dynamics. And, and everybody has jumped in online now on social media and are saying, how could they? Prof himself in his youth, would not respect you just for the heck of it. I mean, you would have given him good reason to respect you. And
Becky, that is the irony. I agree with you. We can't just now assume what could have happened.
Yes.
1,001 things could have happened. And by the way, and this is from my practical experience.
Yes.
I've had to sit in business class on local flights.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to see persons that I consider to be revered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, revered means I've seen them display values that I have always admired. Right. And I'll give just two examples. Dr. Christopher Kolade is one.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Christopher Kolade comes in the plane. Incidentally, it was the first row. I got up, I genuflected. I took his bag. And I was going to say, and he said, no, please, I'm going to the back. I said, over my dead body, my Dr. Kolade, you're going to take my seat.
Right.
He insisted he was going to go to the back. I said, no, Dr. Christopher, you are going to, we either do of two things, we do a compromise. I follow you to wherever that you are going to be sitting. If you insist that you are not going to take my seat, he patted me and said, thank you very much for this kind of consideration. He didn't take the seat at the end of the day. But I ended up, and this is not a matter of self-justification, I ended up giving that seat to another elderly woman.
So you could go sit.
Yes. So I could go sit with. The other one, living example, is the current Nigerian ambassador to the UK, retired Justice Oguntade. He was sitting at a particular seat, and he had a friend on the other seat, and then they were trying to talk closer. And I said, Mr. Justice, please, why don't you just move to my seat so you could be nearer your friend? And then, of course, they all went in Gufao. The third example is the late revered person, Mrs. Dora Akuyele.
Right.
Mrs. Dora Akuyele had somebody. They came in together and they were allotted different seats. I left my seats now. Now, not to give the impression that this is only for revered people. I have had situations where the seat that was allotted to me, when I got in, I saw a baby. Okay, well,
So basically giving consideration to people
It is
elderly for their positions of authority, for the good deeds they've done for the nation, for the respect that you have for them.
And even if they are young, they have not done anything, you need to see the kind of smile that young baby gave to me.
Of course.
And then came
vulnerable people.
So at the end of the day, I think
that's about humanity.
One of the attributes of respect, Bekeme, I'm talking to you very, very, very seriously, whether you are millennial, whether you are the old brigade and what have you, is that it's so infectious and it forms a hollow of thinking of the others before you. And I've seen that it has helped to open doors. Having said that, in the scenario that we are looking at, the Professor Wole Soyinka that I know and I have met a couple of times in airport lounges will never insist
on sitting on somebody
else's.
Okay, so I'm going to use this opportunity to give our callers an opportunity to call in. The number is 0700 923 923 93. Again, it's 0700 923 93 93. So would like to hear from you what your thoughts are. I mean, as you were talking, it brought to mind, first of all, what you're trying to say in essence is that we as human beings have to show some love, some charity towards each other, because that's actually a sign of respect.
Very important.
Because sometimes insisting on your rights may not actually be it. That doesn't mean that people who should respect a certain situation or the other person for whatever reason, should not extend that respect. It brings to mind my own situation as well that I talked about on the group. We have a caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Ndidi. Good evening. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm beautiful and I'm healthy. Thank you.
Oh,
and how
God.
are you too?
I'm very well, thank you.
And good evening to the elder in the studio.
Hey, Ndidi. I am as young as you, Ndidi. Will you believe that? My mind.
In his mind, he is.
Okay.
Thank you, Ndidi. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Well, going by what he said, my own thinking along the line of respect is treating somebody the right way that the person should be treated. Mm-hmm. Should be treated, or relating with somebody in the right way. You understand? Because we all have rights. Where my own right stops, someone else's right starts.
Absolutely.
So if my respecting somebody is going to be injurious to me, I will not give that person that respect. For example, we have children. We've had children being raped by uncles or by their father. Because of out of respect, they couldn't shout at, they couldn't talk. They were just giving the respect. So that wasn't respect in itself. It was that other person has lost the respect.
Absolutely.
It was out of respect that made that child not to shout or no.
And out of respect that family members then become complicit by hiding that act.
Exactly, by hiding behind the respect.
Absolutely.
And perpetrating evil. No, we should be able to know what respect is, where to stop giving that respect. If the person loses the respect, you don't give. If it's going to be injurious to you, you don't give that respect at all.
Thank you, Ndidi. As usual, very on point. Thank you so much for your contribution to this. It brings to mind the air crashes that Japan once used to have as a result of this matter of respect. And, in our own public life as well here in Nigeria, someone would tell you, their boss would say that a snake swallowed money or a gorilla seized it at the zoo, and out of respect, people say nothing. Is that not a negative trend for us as a nation? The situation where you don't speak up because you feel like the person deserves your respect.
That will be dysfunctional. That is not respect. That is utter stupidity. And again...
So you've got 1 minute.
Let's go back. Respect does not mean that you don't have rights, that you don't have the courage, that you don't have the character to be able to say what is right. Look, I am older than you, and for whatever reason, I am going the wrong way that might even be injurious to me. Mm-hmm. And then you will now then say, oh, Papa, you are doing the wrong thing. My first reaction is, who are you? What do you think? When did you come to the world and stuff like that? And you said, I am not going to allow you to go in there because at the end of the day, you're going to get yourself hurt. Now, experience now show the two of us that, hey, but for this particular youngster, giving me the red flag has saved me a lot of anguish. What do you think is going to be my reaction? I will have to respect that.
You would have
individual.
to. Not everybody does that. But basically what I'm hearing you say is that manner of approach is very important. It's very important,
one. And then please, we must not leave here without saying something. We are all human.
Yeah.
We are all prone to making mistakes.
Absolutely.
We are all prone to error of judgment. It has happened so many times before. And if an error of judgment or a mistake or a remiss on the part of A over B happens, for you to now then come and be insisting that, well, you've made a mistake, your point is made, but you made this mistake, I am not going to allow you to get away with it, you are a... And then you begin to use words we should not use on radio and stuff like that. You see, you basically cross the line. The professor could easily have made a genuine mistake now.
Yeah.
Not because of memory not being sharp per se.
Yeah.
It could have even been, a mistake. I have seen situations where those who allot seats or whatever it is now say, you are on the aisle on this particular number. Mm-hmm. You went to sit on another aisle, and then before anybody now says Jack or Robinson.
Yes. So I want to know your final. So what is your final point that you're trying to make?
My final point is that attitude matters in everything.
Thank you.
I also believe, and I'm going to leave this with my millennial friends who might have been listening. I'd like you to go listen to Aretha Franklin's 1973 bit when she was talking about respect.
Okay.
The refrain kept on saying, respect little bits here and there, respect. At the end of the day, when you respect, you become very humble. And when you become very humble, according to the good books, all the good books that I've read, you become a leader.
Thank you so much. So basically, it's respect with love, with charity, with the right attitude. That doesn't mean that you would allow your rights to be trampled upon. And to leave you with some quotes, knowledge will give you power, but character, respect. And, some of the popular sayings, respect yourself and others will respect you. And then finally, men are respectable only as they respect. And then referring to the holy books, it says an angry response, brings, calamity, but a soft response turns away wrath. So that's what I leave you with, good citizens. You've been listening, and I'm sure you'll make your own deductions from everything that we've said. Respect yourselves and respect those above and beneath you. The show was brought to you by CSR in Action, and our wonderful caller has won herself a nice, yummy Domino's pizza. Keep the conversation going at Good Citizen NG on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My name is Bekeme. Have yourselves a great weekend, and thank you so much for coming, Akin. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
ACT Foundation is an indigenous grant-making non-profit organization committed to making positive impact by leveraging partnerships to support local, national, and regional non-profit organizations working to address challenges in areas of health, entrepreneurship, environment, and leadership. We work with NGOs, CBOs, and social enterprises implementing impactful and sustainable community-based initiatives across Africa. Visit our website, www.actrustfoundation.org. The Good Citizen Radio Show is proudly sponsored by ACT Foundation, partnering for sustainable development.